is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, a joy to be with them each and every day, and I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
The final week of Duck Insider. We've got Waz coming up. Chris Clayton is here in the Country Financial Studio. Let's go. I'm Joey Mack. I asked Chris, heading into regional weekend, I was like, hey, Chris, like, you know the way that the postseason works.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'm going to be in town Wednesday. The Ducks could play Friday. Ducks could play Saturday. We got no idea. So I said, Chris, you want to just come in Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just hang out, do the show? And Chris was very kind to say yes.
And I'm here. And that's been something that is difficult to explain to somebody who doesn't always understand sports or working in sports, is whether it's my wife or her extended family. It's like, wait, so Chris doesn't know what he's doing that week?
Tomorrow?
I'm like, no, it depends on how this team does. But it also depends on what this team does, and then how the selection committee, the overlords, decide when we're going to play. So, you just never know. There's so many ifs, ands, buts, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, yeah, I thought, for example, right, I mean, Oregon knew that the Ducks were advancing to Super Regionals, and so one thought, right, is, well, you play Friday because the Ducks and the matchup with Texas, right, we knew already on Sunday night. Well, didn't work out that way. And sometimes that's for our TV partners and ESPN, admittedly, is put the Ducks in Texas in the marquee window. This is the marquee ESPN window. I'm told that it's what we would refer to as the A team, like the A crew for ESPN coming to do Oregon and Texas. It's the marquee matchup in Super Regionals.
Just those two iconic logos next to each other.
Yeah.
The O versus the Texas Longhorn. I mean, that's iconic. That's huge, regardless of what sport it is. I mean, these are two athletic departments that have deep athletic departments, if you will. A lot of good teams across different sports, and it's always a big matchup. I mean, this is going to have a lot of eyeballs on it.
Those of you watching the show, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, Scott, go ahead, show that Super Regional matchup graphic, will you? Because Chris just sparked something that I need to unpack with him here. Because once upon a time, those of you that do not know this, Chris Clayton was the master on what we referred to as Mascot Madness.
Mascot Mania.
Mascot Mania. God, I thought it was madness. Mascot Mania. This was on many when we were students. We filled many a talk show with Chris trying to come up with the mascot for everything. So the Oregon Super Regional against Texas, 5 o'clock on ESPN, Saturday. Sunday, 6 o'clock, and then Monday we'll find out. Maybe there won't even be a game Monday.
Yeah. Let me clarify the mascot. What I meant by the mascot, not necessarily like the logo, person in a suit. It's like the Oregon Ducks. Yeah, the team name.
And Chris would get all of them right.
In my prime.
I think you still would. I mean, all right. So Scott, show the matchup of all the Super Regionals, if you will. Okay. So here's what I want to know.
Oh no.
The Texas Longhorn versus the Oregon O. I think we would all agree in these parts the Oregon O is the most recognizable, right?
Oh, yeah.
The Oregon O is the most recognizable brand logo in college athletics. So of the 16, Chris, is the Longhorn the second most recognizable logo in the Super Regionals? The burnt orange Texas Longhorn?
It might be. I mean, looking at this.
What about Chapel Hill? What about North Carolina?
Yeah, this is a fantastic group. I think as you look, for those of you watching, we have these 16 logos on the screen. I think you have to put North Carolina in there.
I think that's a top 3 logo.
And USC, I think, is going to be in that group.
Is that more recognizable nationally than the Georgia G? But the Georgia G, like, there's a lot of other schools that use that G that's very similar.
Yeah, I mean,
and like State Well, Mississippi State's logo could mean like state for all kinds of things.
Yeah, this is a perfect example of one where it depends on who you talk to and also what portion of the country you're in. Because
like
I think
the
if you're,
OU.
Yeah, if you're from that area, you're like, well, everybody knows OU. But I think
Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Yeah, from a national perspective in terms of relevance right now, I would say the Oregon and Texas might be the top two. And it also depends on the sport. I mean, if you're talking basketball and a blue blood, you have to put UNC in that group as well. But I think for national relevance right now and hashtag national brand,
darn right,
Oregon and Texas, if there ain't top two, they're right up there with anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Like you look at these teams, these universities, and then the logos, and certainly the logo has power. We know that coming from the University of Oregon. Like I look at that and I go, yeah, those are recognizable. The Texas Longhorn and the O.
Yeah, it matters. I mean, you think for a high school athlete who's high, being recruited heavily,
right.
One of the first things you think is, wow, wouldn't it be cool if I could go to insert school? And usually there's a group of schools where you're perceived as, hey, you've made it if the Ducks are going after you, if Texas are going after you. And part of that is being able to put the O in your Twitter bio.
That's right.
Or whatever it is. So I think that really means a lot. It's a powerful matchup.
Yeah.
You understand why they put it on Saturday in primetime.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like if you just look at all the matchups, you realize, okay, for the national TV audience, that Oregon O versus that Texas Longhorn, that's as good as it gets.
And you think about this applies to any sport. There's a lot of people that are casual fans who maybe don't watch a lot of college baseball throughout the year, and they might go, "Oh, hey, college baseball is getting into the postseason here. I want to check out what's going on this weekend." And they see, "Oh, Oregon and Texas. I'm gonna check this out." And
6 and 11 by their names.
Yeah,
right?
that might be the first college baseball game they've watched all year, and it's going to be a heck of a game to check out.
And the number one team, right, in UCLA, they're out. Like this is baseball. That's the magic of baseball. Not long ago, Ole Miss was the last team in, and then they won the national title. I mean, it happens.
So when you think about TV ratings or even radio ratings and the ears, you think of those casual fans who don't listen or watch every single game.
Yeah.
This is one that they're going to be tuned into.
Well, and I'm fired up about it. I mean, so the Ducks planning to travel tomorrow. Oregon gets a practice day at the Super Regional site, and then again starts on Saturday. 5 o'clock Pacific time Saturday, 6 o'clock Pacific time on Sunday, to be determined if necessary on Monday. Hopefully the Ducks just take care of business in Game 1 and Game 2, and we don't even talk about a Game 3. That's Oregon coming off a great regional, though. Chris and I have been texting a lot throughout the baseball broadcasts, and I'm curious, Chris, for your perspective, like traveling with women's basketball, doing that, getting to the NCAA tournament, now seeing postseason for these Diamond Sports, track coming up, national championships at Hayward Field next week, more on that coming. But what's been your perspective? Like tuning into me and Ryan, following, what's been the perspective of the team?
I really think what's turned for me is the last few weeks. It feels like there's been a turn. I mean, I think they were going along during the season, obviously impressing, and you could see the glimpses of what they could do. But I really think ever since the last 2 games of that USC series, it feels like they've just had a jolt and a level of confidence. They dropped that first game against USC, and it's, not here we go, but, you're thinking, okay, they got to take care of business here. They got to prove themselves, because at that point you're thinking, well, is Oregon going to be able to host for sure? You don't know. They take care of business, those final 2 against the Trojans, dominate in the Big Ten tournament through those first couple games. So you think now, since May 15th, that's 7 of the last 8 games Oregon baseball has won. The only loss in there to UCLA, regardless of what happened to the Bruins in the postseason. That's one of the best teams in the country. So I think that they've kind of turned a corner, feels like to me. I mean, you look at how they're batting 1 through 9 in the order. People have stepped up and have timely hitting in big moments. The bullpen is showing off the depth. I mean, there's just a level of consistency, and that's all you can ask for when you get to this time of year, is everybody to be playing at or near their best level. Because if you don't, when you're playing teams like Texas or teams like Oregon State, you will get exposed if you don't have that depth. And right now, Oregon feels like, as a collective unit, they've had these experiences together, and they understand what it takes, and they're confident in where they're at. So I really think what stood out to me is we've already known they're talented. They've been talented enough to play at this level, but now it's everybody's coming along at the same time, where you could argue the last 8 games they've played as well as anybody in the country.
Yeah. Well, Here's an interesting point to that. We're going to hear from Mark Wasikowski coming up, some baseball highlights as we kind of look through the season, getting ready for the Super Regional that begins Saturday. Peaking at the right time. Every team wants to peak in postseason. You want to peak at the end of the year, right? And I think the consistency is a great point because Oregon has been consistent, but there's always been that but this could be the thing that breaks the next ceiling, right? And I feel like Oregon still has that potentially in front of them. Right now we've seen great starting pitching over the last few weeks. Offensively, in some games, timely hits, in others, leaving a lot of runners on base. I mean, there's always going to be things in a baseball game, especially against good teams, right, that you want to see that peak continue. Here's what's interesting, though, heading into this matchup with Texas. Chris and I were joking, you look at Texas's stats and you go, boy, there's not a lot of weaknesses there. Okay, now listen to this. Bear with me, all right? Texas is 43-13. Oregon is 43-16 this year. Both teams have won 43 games coming into this. The Ducks went 20-10 in Big Ten play. Guess what Texas went in SEC play? They went 19-10.
There you go.
Texas went 19-10 in SEC play. Okay. Texas was 32-4 at home. The Ducks were 26-5 at home. So similar.
Close.
So similar. Oregon 13-9 in road games. Texas was 8-8 in road games. There, a little bit home field advantage. Okay. Tip it to Texas. You want to know what Texas's team batting average was? .299. Some video game numbers, as you'll hear Mark Wasikowski describe here coming up in a moment. Multiple guys over 300. In fact, 4 of them consistently that have been in the lineup hitting over 300. You want to know how many players Oregon has consistently hitting over 300 this year? 4. They are so similar.
Yeah.
Just the records, the numbers. It shouldn't surprise you that these are 2 national seeds, 11 Oregon, 6 Texas, that match up at this point. But here's where I think things get a little bit interesting. Oregon's ERA of 3.99. Texas has an ERA of 4.10. Pitching is even very similar, but gives slightly the edge to the Ducks there maybe. Oregon's been great at limiting opportunities, walk hits, innings pitched. Oregon's consistently been one of the best in the country. There are so many similarities between these two teams.
And we talked about the last few weeks, 3 weeks or whatever it is, Oregon's strikeout to walk ratio has gotten even better. I mean, they've been very consistent. So you talk about, a team evolves and changes over the course of the season. I think Oregon's stats, maybe, especially with pitching, don't tell the whole story of how they're going. And usually when you look at this matchup and you see on paper, oh, man, Texas is really good. Well, I think Texas's broadcasters and people are probably looking at Oregon and going, whoa, Oregon's really good. There's not a lot of weaknesses. Yeah. But another thing I like to look at is, all right, these teams, they have great records. They have major league talent, both teams. So how did they fare against other ranked teams?
There you go.
Again, it's similar. Texas was 10-6. Oregon went 8-6. So you're talking about a matchup on paper where, yes, Oregon's on the road, but on a neutral site, just put the balls and bats out there and play. This is a very even matchup. Okay. And Oregon's been in a lot of tough road environments before where you got to hope it's not as much of a factor as it may have been in years past.
Well, and to that point, a big talking point heading into this Super Regional is that the Ducks 2 years ago went to a Super Regional in the state of Texas against Texas A&M. Jim Schlossnagle was the head coach. He's now the head coach of Texas. There's some similarities between that. One thing, though, I'm glad that you brought up the walks. Okay. Texas has struck out 630 hitters, as a pitching staff. They've walked 179 hitters. That's an edge to Texas. Oregon's walked 229 this year, but the strikeout numbers for the Ducks are at 655. Oregon struck out a higher clip than Texas has, but Texas has limited those free passes a bit. However, of late, Oregon has walked less hitters than Texas has in the last month.
And that's what it's all about. Who are you as a team right now? That's the ultimate question. And, the season starts way back in February. I mean, we're into June now. These players have individually improved. They've collectively improved. I mean, everything is just setting up. And you were talking about it earlier in the week. I was watching on the show. I mean, it feels like an incredible story that's setting up for Oregon baseball this year. And I don't want to get too far out in front, but it feels so perfect, right? You able to host a regional. You finish strong. You beat the Beavs, and in their season,
the Beavs.
You win 8 of the last 9. You exercise that demon. You have an opportunity against a coach that has beat you in the past. You go back to the state where you were disappointed and couldn't get the job done. It's all setting up beautifully. And a lot of times in sports, This is why we love sports. It's like a movie.
It is like a movie.
It's a cinematic finish,
Yep.
and the opportunity's right there for the Ducks.
I'm with you. On that note, the opportunity ahead for Mark Wasikowski. We're going to hear from the Oregon baseball head coach. He's Chris Clayton. I'm Joey Mack. More Duck Insider coming. Ducks getting ready to take on Texas in Super Regionals here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Friday, Toyota says let's put good times in gear with the Tundra, Tacoma, and 4Runner. Want some cool available features? We've got power tailgates to power game days and a trailer backup guide that's the champ of the ramp. Heck, we might even cancel Monday. Toyota trucks. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota. Let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack along with Chris Clayton today. Chris and Jerry Allen have you covered on the show the next couple days, getting ready for Oregon baseball Super Regionals against Texas. And we're going to cover a little women's basketball tomorrow.
Yeah, recap it. I mean, there's still, we talk about this all the time, but our focus right now, of course, is baseball. They got some legacy games here coming up, but the Oregon women's basketball, Oregon men's basketball, these other programs are still hard at work. They're building their rosters, they're training, they're getting ready. Before you know it, we're going to be back in the fall, and then we'll be back in basketball season. So it's never a bad time to kind of recap these other sports, right? Final week of Duck Insider, why not?
Basketball practice starts in a few short months.
That's crazy.
Have you thought about that? Like,
I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great year, but that's wild.
Yeah, it is wild. So Chris and Jerry will have some year in review, and we'll do a lot more of that coming up over the course as we get ready also for Oregon baseball and Oregon track and field in the postseason. Tickets on sale, GoDucks.com, track and field, national championships. Ducks are bringing 30 entries. The symmetry is amazing. 15 men, 15 women, all coming to Hayward Field in entries in multiple events.
That is so hard to do, to build a roster that deep across, I mean, not just men's and women's, but I mean on a roster across so many different mediums. I mean, so often in track and field you have programs that have specialists, right? Like, oh, this program's known for their distance. This program's known for great throwing. And the Ducks just have it all. I mean, it's really difficult to do, and it's the standard at Oregon.
Yeah, well, Lisa Peterson, who's the sport administrator for Oregon Track and Field, Lisa was just on the show last week, and she said, well, there's a lot of conversation in track and field. Like, do you not go multidiscipline anymore? Do you focus on one thing? And she said that Coach Schumacher here at Oregon's been like, no, you gotta have. And to me, that's how you win national championships still.
Right.
You can't – there's just not enough points available if you specialize that
No.
much. At least I don't think.
Well,
We'll
then you put too much pressure on individual athletes. You're thinking, okay, you got to eke out this amount of points or
and the
we
form
can't
charts
win.
never go perfect.
Right.
If they did, we wouldn't run the race. We wouldn't do the event.
Yeah, that's why Oregon has a margin of error that's so big. If somebody has a down meet or whatever, somebody else can usually pick them up.
Somebody could have an up meet.
That's right.
We saw that in the Big Ten championships, there's no doubt. Mark Wasikowski, the Oregon baseball head coach, he met with the media, sitting at the podium, answering the hard questions. Some of them were from me. Was talking with the media here.
Coach, you talked over the weekend about how this team has embraced the most difficult path to get where you guys are now. You guys head on another difficult path to Texas to take on the Longhorns. What do you guys see from them? What makes them so difficult and challenging in this series that presents for you guys over this weekend?
They're a complete team, right? And I don't know if we've taken the most difficult path or not, but it's been not the easiest path for sure. But what University of Texas, what they do really well is they're just a very complete team. Their pitching's very good. Their position player's very good. They can hurt you with the long ball. They can beat you in a variety of ways. They have excellent team speed. They've got some really good young players. Anthony Pack Jr. is a guy that we really tried hard to get here as a freshman. And they've, we came in second place to get him, which stinks. He's a heck of a player, heck of a talent. And then they had several portal guys in their lineup that were the heaviest, sought after type portal guys out there, right? So, they've got excellent talent on that roster, and they're a beatable team, but still, you got to play your best to beat them.
Yeah, specifically with their pitching staff, and what have you seen from what they've been able to have success with, and specifically with Volantis?
Video game numbers, right? Low walks, high strikeouts, low hits per innings pitched. They're just really good. They command their pitches. They command their pitches in and out of the zone. They're really competitive. They've got power arms out of the bullpen. It's just a balanced team, right? And that's what you'd expect out of the University of Texas. They've got a history in the program that's really, really good. Their crowd support is very good. It's a program that's, it's been one of college baseball's finest programs for a lot of years, for a long, long time. It's and so you just know that going in, but it's also baseball, and the best team's going to win this weekend. The team that plays the best is going to win. And, whether you're planning on a piece of paper or not, piece of paper doesn't really work, especially this time of year. I mean, you've got super regionals right now where I don't know how many upsets there were this year. I think they're talking about there being a lot of them. Well, those games, if they were played on a piece of paper, they would have a different name, on those lines of the brackets, right? And right now those lines on the brackets has some pretty interesting names on those lines. And, back in 1992, I guess Pepperdine was one of those interesting names, when we showed up to the banquet in Omaha, and they were calling the school that I played for Pepperdine and Al Lopez. And neither one of those was correct, because Al Lopez was not Andy Lopez. Andy Lopez proved to be a heck of a coach that won 2 national championships, and he's a Hall of Fame coach. So, at one point when the name necessarily wasn't super sexy with Pepperdine, I think they figured out that it's Pepperdine by the end of it when we won the national championship. And so that's the beauty of the tournament. It's not played on a piece of paper. It's played on the field, and the team that plays the best is going to win the games, and it's not necessarily the most talented rosters that are there.
Coach, you've obviously gotten to watch this group of Ducks throughout this season grow and develop. I'm just wondering, just from what you've seen over these last couple of weeks and after this weekend, just how is this group's confidence feeling right now? Are you seeing like a different swagger, anything different or change just with the way that they played, what they were able to achieve this weekend, and how dangerous or how good and beneficial could that be for this team now that they have to head into the road on a hostile environment?
I haven't been around them yet this week since we played on the weekend in the regional. We've had an off day, and so I haven't been around them quite yet, with media day being before we even actually practiced. And so I don't know, how their mood is or whatever. I can say this much: over the last period of time so far in our season, the 4, 5, 6 weeks, where I just have seen continuous growth throughout this time. We've played in hostile environments. We played in front of 15 or 20,000 people in Omaha against Nebraska. That was a hostile environment. That was about as hostile as you're going to get right there. And we were able to handle it. And so I just see development and growth in this team, where at the beginning of the year, they wouldn't have been able to handle some things that we've been able to handle late in the year. And so trending up, very confident, and one of my asks has been to keep the jersey on just to where we can continue to improve, because I don't think we've reached our peak yet inside that locker room. And the locker room is a culture locker room that it seems like it's a really, really good culture. I'm going to go down to weights with these guys right now, and it's just a ton of fun being with these guys each and every day. And so I don't know the best way to describe these guys. I don't think they've reached their ceilings yet, and they're really a hungry group. They believe that they can beat anybody. They've shown they can beat anybody, and I know they're really excited to practice today, which is really cool because sometimes late in the year there might even be just 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 guys on that practice field that you just get the vibe that that's not a great vibe. And right now, at least last week in practice, those are the last practices we had leading up to our series, the regional weekend. Everybody was really locked in, and it was just awesome to be at practice. Those guys were grinding, and I mean, it didn't matter what the name was on the uniform. They were all diving and playing hard and having a blast together, and it was just a fun week of practice last week. I'd assume it's going to be exactly the same this week.
Well, as you touched on, just playing in those tough environments like at Nebraska, I was just curious, what can this team pull from playing in some of those hostile environments, now going to what we expect to be a great environment in Austin, and maybe even for some of the veterans to pull from previous hostile environment experiences? What can that do for your ball club here heading to Austin?
They've been through a lot, right? I mean, like even Drew Smith, when I was in the press conference with him the other day, I mean, he's been here. He hadn't missed postseason. He's been in big environments. He's had to deal with some real stuff, right? Coming out of the stands directed at him. And so I don't know. I think all these kids where that first team meeting when we said, how many of you guys have been to postseason play? And there wasn't a single guy that had his hand up in the room. Now everybody except for a new player in the program's got his hand up in the room, and they've all done that. And so the next step would be, I guess, right, to ask that question, okay, how many of the guys in this room have been to the College World Series? And outside of coaches, there won't be any hands going up in that room. And let's just hope that question can be posed to this group, because that would be a great question to ask those guys. Until then, they've been to these rounds, and I think the experience that they've used before or have had before, I think should be able to help them in these rounds. And then leading in the College World Series, that's a totally different discussion, and that's putting the cart in front of the horse with the biggest focus right now is winning 2 games this weekend versus Texas.
Yeah, building off that question on the atmosphere, Will Sanford's kind of a guy that really likes to lean into the opposing crowd, like we saw in, I think, the Nebraska game. What about his makeup just kind of makes him, just a sophomore, kind of able to step into those atmospheres and just deliver so far?
Yeah, good question. I mean, I don't know. He's got it, right? You either got it or you don't. And you don't know if they got it until they're put in that spot. He's got it. Tanner Bradley, he's got it. Devin Bell, those guys have shown now, Miles Costola. I mean, these guys have shown that they can go slow heartbeat. Angel Laya, he doesn't look like an 18, 19-year-old dude up there swinging a bat. He looks mature. He looks confident. I mean, and so you either have it or you don't. And what we're finding through all of these pressure type moments is the players that we got a lot of them right now on our roster that seem like they can handle the environments. Even Jack Brooks the other day, and maybe one of the biggest at-bats of the game, and he just calmly took a walk-off after maybe a first-team All-American closer, right? And it was a great at-bat, very calm, under control, and that's our 9-hole guy. So when your 9-hole guys got that kind of poise, I think so did the other 8 guys in front of him and so many of those other pitchers on the staff. And so I think that's why we're going to Super Regionals. We got a good team.
You mentioned learning from these type of rounds that you've been in before. Jim Schlossnagle was the head coach of Texas A&M the last time your team was in a Super Regional. Just what did you learn about his teams the last time you faced up against him in a Super Regional? They're really good. Yeah, and when he was at TCU, they're really good. Jim's a winner. There's a reason why he's the highest paid coach in college baseball. There's a reason why Texas A&M fans can't stand the guy. It's because he left Texas A&M for the University of Texas, probably got paid a lot more money to do it, whatever his reasons were. There's when you've reached a level of success that Jim's reached, it's because you're a good coach and you've got good coaches and you got great teams and you've played really, really well and been in College World Series and done a lot of things, right? And so that's why the guy's getting paid, money's getting paid, and that's why his teams are really, really good. And what you learn is every time that you play against Jim's teams, you're going to have to play well to beat him.
Jim Schlossnagle, the head coach at Texas. Kind words, really, from Mark Wasikowski. And look, those are 2 competitive guys, but respectful guys at the same time.
Yeah.
They know what each other are capable of.
The reality is, Waz, in his head, he wants to beat Jim. He
Absolutely.
does. I mean, this is, this matters to him. He wants to win for his players, and he's going to say most of the right things. But, this is something where, as a competitor, he's thinking, I can't let him beat me again. So that adds some intrigue, and I'm sure it's going to be part of the storyline and the narrative as we get closer to that game that everybody's going to be talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Oregon was actually the last team to play at home at Texas A&M before Jim Schlossnagle left. And then that A&M team, Braden Montgomery got hurt in the Oregon series. That A&M team ended up being the national runner-up without one of the best players in the country in Braden Montgomery. So clearly he can coach.
Yep.
Right? There's a lot of respect, I think, between these two teams. And I come back to the stats that we mentioned beforehand. They are eerily similar. It shouldn't shock you that the two teams both have 43 wins coming into this super regional, right? Like, there's a reason that they have those 43 wins. But, man, the two programs are pretty similar.
They're right there. I mean, they both – you could say the SEC maybe has a little bit more depth as a conference than the Big Ten, say. But guess what? Oregon had some brutal travel that they had to make this year across all sports. And you play a 3-game series where you're across multiple time zones. That explains some of their losses. And I think that explains why Oregon was so successful against ranked teams, that you can't always – just look at what conference a team is in. You got to look a little bit deeper, and when you look deeper, you see these teams are very similar.
And to the conference point, like Oregon went to Nebraska, right, in the state of Nebraska. A lot of red in the stands. Will Sanford rose to the occasion. I think the Ducks have demonstrated that they play well on the road. I'm looking forward to it. I have not been to Texas for baseball. I've been to the campus, but I've never done a sporting event there. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. But just obviously I was there in Austin for Oregon women's basketball in the NCAA tournament. Right. So I guess we're making regular trips to Austin.
Give me
now.
the recs, Chris. All the recommendations. I like it. All right, we're going to get time out. Come back. Let's hear from the aforementioned Will Sanford. What'd he take from some of these big pitching performances this year? Talking to one of the Duck aces on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Back to the Country Financial Studios in 60 seconds. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It's really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas.
Congratulations on getting your diploma.
You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
I'm coming home to the place that I remember, back to the land of my first love. Would you spread wide your arms for this wayward son? I left my heart in home.
Second Sider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Chris Clayton joining us today. He's got the show for you the next couple days with Jerry Allen. I have no idea where Jerry will take the Friday conversation, but I just want to point out I have not warned John Sargent, the head of hangar management in the University of Oregon Athletic Department. I have not warned Sarge that Jerry will be here Friday. So, Sarge, if you get an angry text message at 2 o'clock because you didn't bring in any concessions of some kind for some reason for Jerry to eat.
Demanding.
I've noted it. Jerry and I have so much fun with the concessions on Fridays. You got to start coming in for Duck Insider on Fridays during
just
football
for the
season.
concessions.
You just get lunch.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. We noticed. I was talking to Ryan about this at the end of fall. Like, suddenly on Fridays there were like 7 interns in here during football season. Like, wow, everybody, wow, this is great. And the answer was, oh, I don't have class on Friday.
They could smell the food.
Come on.
They just like started floating towards the studio like a cartoon.
Man, we're gonna be back doing that though before you know it. Our Friday concessions, whatever the concession item in the game is for Oregon football, Sarge will always bring it in, and we'll be able to sample it and show it to you here on Duck Insider. It's gonna be football season before you know it. Tickets going fast. If you want your season tickets, better get them now. Will Sanford was great on the road for the Ducks and has pitched in a lot of big-time games, figured to pitch in a big-time game against Texas now coming up in the Super Regionals that begin on Saturday. Duck starting pitcher, Will Sanford.
Well, I think a lot of us will ask you just about pitching in big environments. You know, what you did against Nebraska in Nebraska, and now expecting a big environment just in a Super Regional round. What have you pulled from those experiences, and how have you been able to succeed in those sort of environments?
Yeah, no, I honestly just think it's really fun to play in those big environments. Even the one in Nebraska, I thought it was great. Even though there's 13,000 fans against you, I think it just makes it more fun and you just enjoy it.
It's going to be a very unique opportunity for this program to play in Austin in the postseason against Texas. I'm just wondering, Super Regionals, obviously, I would imagine you're looking forward to that, but what about this series are you just most looking forward to getting able to play starting this weekend?
I mean, they're just a really talented team, and we're playing our best baseball right now. They're playing their best baseball, so it's just going to be a really high-level match, and both teams are really hungry right now. I know we're really trying to get to Omaha. They're trying to push for Omaha too, but this is just a really high-level, high-talented team that we're going to go against, and I just can't wait to get going.
You talked post-game after that regional round about the looking strikeouts. Just how much is the development of Berkeley Mabius, along with your own development, two guys that came up in the same class, how much has that helped you in terms of securing those looking strikeouts?
I think it's great just being able to work with them from the fall to winter. Just the work we put in together and bullpens and scrimmages have been great. And it's really come to fruition this season, and it's been really great. It's been a great battery.
Yeah, going back to the environment, I think in that Nebraska game, I mean, you get pretty animated in any matchup, but I think when the opposing fans are going crazy, it really kind of brings it out of you. Have you always had that? Does that just kind of come out of you, or is that something that you try to emphasize when you go into games?
Honestly, I just think it's just how I compete out there. Even if there's no fans, even if I'm just playing against our team, I think I've done this throughout my career, and especially in the scrimmages, you can ask any of my teammates. I'm the same animated person when I pitch in scrimmages, so I think it's just the competitor I am. I just really get amped up.
I wanted to ask you a little bit more about Berkeley, just and working with him. How much have you guys grown together, and also what are some of those conversations like when you and him even chat on the hill? How does he help you in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time when he comes up to me during games and chats with me, it's mostly to calm myself down and just tell myself to just relax, believe in my stuff, and just stay working with him. But I don't know, it's just been a great connection, and we've been connecting really well, and it's been awesome.
This past weekend obviously was a pretty unique experience for this team, for this program, I would imagine, for yourself. I'm just wondering, was there any big takeaway for you that you feel like you got out of this past weekend that you feel like just in a short time is going to help you grow and even maybe potentially is going to better prepare you for what you're about to face in Texas?
I just think this team's playing great baseball right now. I just think the chemistry we have and just how much this team plays for each other, I think that's what's going to make this team go super far, and we just can't wait to go to Texas.
Yeah, what are your initial impressions on Texas lineup, and then specifically a second part on Robbins, who's really been good for them?
Yeah, we haven't really gone to film yet. We'll probably do that a little later this week, but they're a talented team. They have a great lineup. I know Robbins has been killing it this year, but we're just going to keep playing our baseball and just go out there and attack them.
When you're dealing like you are in that game in the regional and you're consistently in the windup, how much of a physical rhythm are you able to get in when you're going 1, 2, 3 in each inning and you're able to stay in that windup?
I don't know if it's more of a rhythm, but it's just more so I think it's the tempo of how I go about it. I think that's been the big emphasis, is just being fast and trying to get off the mound as quick as possible. So that's all I really think about.
Right, and just kind of piggybacking off of his question a little bit, when you have a 14 strikeout performance like that, what goes into having a performance like that? And is there something that you're doing to try to replicate that as you guys are going into this next series?
I think it's just continually mixing pitches and landing different pitches zone, give them different looks, and like not give them same pitches each at bat, just being able to mix against those hitters, and then, I don't know, just being able to stay on the attack.
I've been asking a lot of the pitchers this year, Will, just about the defense behind you, particularly in the infield. I know that's a big point of pride in this program. Just what can you say about the defense in the infield, what it's done for this team now heading into the rest of postseason?
Well, from my lens, it makes it easier to pitch because I know those plays are going to be made behind me. So it just boosts my confidence, and everybody on the team just knows that we have one of the best defenses, best infielders in the country. So it just boosts our confidence for sure.
Will Sanford, to the
I
point.
think a lot of us will ask you just.
Well, you get to hear me again. Scott's going on. Will Sanford, though, you heard us talking about the strikeouts looking. So what we're alluding to there is both he and Cal Scolari were tied with David Peterson at 32 looking strikeouts in a single season. Well, so Sanford got a looking K. He's now alone, and I guess Cal could still technically catch him and pass him, but to be in the same conversation with David Peterson, who guy's pitching in the big leagues, right? That's a big deal. Also, the looking strikeout, it's such an interesting statistic, and you're freezing the hitter, and I do think sometimes it's probably because Berkeley Mabius gets that 50-50 pitch to be a strike.
Right.
And that conversation point with Will Sanford, I just thought was so important. Every strike's going to matter here in the postseason.
And it's fun to hear him talk about it because it's always a team effort. It's not just, cliches. They're saying, hey, the catcher maybe is helping out. He's moving the pitch a little bit. And then he said, it's easier to pitch when I know the defense behind me is going to make plays. Right. So he can be a little bit more aggressive with how he spins the ball and fools the batter when he knows, hey, the guy's got my back behind me. So this is where that's a perfect example of what you're talking about, where this team has come together and their confidence and their performance just elevates everybody's individual play.
That's Will Sanford. Pitching in a big environment, Super Regionals. Beginning Saturday, 5 o'clock, Sunday, 6 o'clock. We'll see if we need a game on Monday. When we come back, how about a look back on how we got to Super Regionals? Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues from the Country Financial Studios in 1 minute on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never, ever become a minivan mom. So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
We just kind of knew from the beginning that we were family.
They showcased a sense of love that I never had before. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
At the end of the day, it's all been worth it. I wouldn't change a thing about our lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt U.S. Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You know you make me wanna kick my heels up and throw my hands
Oregon Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack and Chris Clayton hanging out in the Country Financial Studio today. We put together a baseball season highlight package. My thanks to Rob Joyce for helping us with it all year long. How do we get here? Some of the highlights from this year in Oregon baseball. Opening day at PK Park. A new season is here. The 2026 Oregon baseball season begins this afternoon.
Smith rips one deep to left center field. Drew Smith, grand slam off the 1954 College World Series sign. Runs into the first pitch, drives it deep to left. Jimenez at the wall. Jimenez leaps and takes the catch away. Oh my goodness. Jax Jimenez crashing into the fence. 2-0. Laya doesn't squander this one. He crushes deep to right field. Angel Laya, a 3-run blast. The 1-2 offering from Featherston. In there for strike 3. Ryan Featherston strikes out the side in the 9th as Oregon wins 7-2 on Friday night against Arizona. The Big Ten opener here on the road for Oregon baseball. We travel to West Lafayette, Indiana to play Purdue. Mabius stings this pitch deep to right field. Berkeley Mabius, a grand slam. Laya hits another one really well. Back into Oregon's bullpen. He's done it again. 2 home runs today for Angel Laya.
Delivers, and it's a ground ball by Malamasian. To second for 1. To first, double play. Ducks win 5-1 and take the series against the Hoosiers. Another 0-2 to Laya. Hit on the ground, through the infield, base hit. Oregon wins 7-6. Angel Laya comes through, knocks in Maddox Maloney. Oregon comes back from down 6-1.
Sanford's payoff at the bottom of the zone. Back-to-back looking strikeouts for Will Sanford. He's K-9. Another 3-2. Cut on and missed. 11 Ks for Will Sanford. Will Sanford with 12 Ks through 6.
1-0 to Moyer. Ground ball toward the shortstop, could be 2. To second for 1. Cooney's relay in time. Double play. 1-0, hit in the air, toward right center field. Brooks tracks it, Brooks underneath it, Brooks makes the catch. Ducks win 5-4, Oregon takes the series against Nebraska.
Jimenez lines it into right center field and he comes through. That ball's in the alley. Mabius will score, Hellman coming around, Brooks getting the wave, Jimenez going to third base. It's a bases clearing triple and the Ducks are up 9-4. Grounded towards first, fair ball, Miranda gloves, he'll go to the bag and the Ducks win 11-5. Oregon takes the series against Illinois.
Bell to the lefty again. Got him swinging on the breaking ball down. Bell goes 1-2-3 in the 9th.
The deciding pitch is low. Jack Brooks works the walk, and Oregon walks it off 5-4 in 10.
1-0 to Mabius. Hits it in the air toward right field. Berkeley Mabius gives it a ride. Berkeley Mabius gives the Ducks the lead. Milwaukee, this one is headed toward Lake Washington. Oh my goodness, Junior Milwaukee with an absolute moonshot. 6-4 Oregon. Laya smokes one in the air to center field. Paul going back. Paul watches it go off the batter's eye. Angel Laya's 13th long ball. At the knee, strike 3 call. Devin Bell shuts the door. The Ducks win 10-4. Oregon takes the series. Now Oregon looking for the lead. Brooks hits one to left center field. That ball is down. Oregon has the lead. 2 runs in. Milwaukee being sent. He scores. Jack Brooks clears the bases. Maloney throws in time, and the Ducks win 9-6. The first loss in Big Ten play for UCLA.
Another 1-2. Jacksa pulls it deep to left field. Braden Jacksa into the bullpen. A 3-run towering shot. Oregon takes a 3-2 lead. Balls a strike. Junior hits it well deep to center field. Backing up Urban. Junior Milwaukee. It's back-to-back Jacks.
Winning run at third with 2 outs. Mabius puts down a bunt. Rolls one to the left side. Jackson scores. The throw is wide. Oregon with a walk-off squeeze. Mabius with a great one. Oh, outstanding. The
postseason starts this morning. Oregon facing Washington in the Big Ten tournament.
Deals it, and Miranda rockets one to right. Gabe Miranda to the bullpen. 7-0 Oregon. 5th solo shot today for the Ducks. The old Laya ranges over toward the gap, and the right fielder makes the catch. Ducks win 9-4, advancing from the Big Ten quarterfinals to the semifinals tonight. Breaking ball got him looking. Will Sanford's 9th K tonight. Smith hits it in the air toward right center field. Trouble, bounces down into the wall. 1 run in, another on the way with Smith trying for third, and he'll get there. Ground ball toward the shortstop. Maloney to Cooney to first. Double play, Ducks win 8-0. Oregon advances to the Big Ten Tournament Championship. Lavu, rocket to Smith, throw to first, double play. Lavu lines into a double play, a great throw from Drew Smith. We go to the 11th. 2 outs, bases loaded still. The pitch, high and tight, and the umpire is saying that it clipped Phoenix call. A bases loaded hit by pitch. So UCLA wins 3-2. There's nothing like home baseball, and there's nothing like home postseason baseball. Yale is the opponent. First time these two teams will ever meet on the diamond.
1-0 pitch to Milwaukee is hammered deep to left center field. You can't forget about it. It's way up on the light pole. A 3-run blast for Junior Milwaukee.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bowman strikes out the side in the 9th, and Oregon wins 14-2 over Yale.
2-2 pitch is cut on and missed. Will Sanford continues to rack up strikeouts. He's now K'd 6 in a row. Sanford strikes out the side for the 2nd inning. 2-2. Cut on and missed. Sanford picks up his 13th strikeout.
Milwaukee hits one a ton toward the flag. Milwaukee gone! Well, strike away the pitch. Swinging strike 3. Oregon 4, Washington State 0 sends the Ducks to the Eugene Regional Final.
Deuces are wild. There's 2 on with 2 outs and a 2-2 count. The pitch from Bradley. Cut on and missed. He strikes out Galloway with the changeup. And the Ducks send it to the 9th with a 4-1 lead.
Call, grounder, right side. Jackson has it, goes to the bag. The Ducks are the Eugene Regional champions. Oregon to the Super Regionals with a 4-1 win over Oregon State. It's fun to relive some of the moments, you know, just thinking through the long season, because it's a long season, you know. Both Ryan and I have been on the road with Oregon baseball, and the team's been through a lot to get to this point, and here's hoping that they can still peak here down the stretch, huh?
Yeah, I mean, every season has their different narratives, their peaks and valleys. You know, you have the first month of the year where you're thinking, okay, what new names are going to establish themselves? And then you have a new problem or a discussion that comes up in the middle of the season, and then you come down the stretch, and all of a sudden the last 3 weeks, there's a new narrative. It's, wow, they're playing really well. So it's fun to just look back on how everything went down.
It is. Oregon baseball postseason continues, Super Regionals this weekend. Timeout. When we come back, a little bit of history for Oregon women's golf. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs, and for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working in our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
More Duck Insider from the Country Financial Studios after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
When I smoke weed, I get lost in the music. I like to isolate each instrument. The rhythmic bass, the harmonies on the piano, the sticky melody.
Hey, careful, babe. There's someone crossing the street.
Sorry, I didn't see him there.
If you feel different, you drive different. Don't drive high. It's dangerous and illegal everywhere. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, Chris Clayton, women's golf's Kiara Romero. Another milestone this week, becoming the first player in Oregon women's golf history to be named a first-team All-American for the third time. Already the first two-time first-team All-American in program history, Romero earned the honor for the third straight year following her junior season this spring. Head coach Derek Radley has now coached 7 players to 11 total All-America honors since he took over in 2018 to 19. And that's after taking over a program that had 3 All-America honors between 2 players prior. Just think about that. Already 7 players to 11 total All-America honors since 2018. Prior to that, the women's golf team had only ever had 2 players earn All-America honors.
Wow. I mean, you think about the Hall of Fame class that was just announced and who's going to be Hall of Famer moving forward, right? I mean, we're in the midst of generational golf talent right now for the University of Oregon and Kiara Romero. I mean, what she's doing is something to look into for Duck fans because she's a special talent.
She is. She set the Oregon single-season record for scoring average for the 3rd year in a row. She set the record as a freshman, broke it as a sophomore, and now has broken it as a junior. Her average was a 69.23 across 24 rounds of stroke play.
I'll do that in the front 9.
Dude, I'll do that on a mini golf course. Are you kidding me? Like, it's amazing what she's done. The #1 ranked amateur in the world, the first time ever that we've seen a 3-time first-team All-American for Oregon women's golf. Really amazing. Well, Chris Clayton and Jerry Allen have you the rest of the way. I'm hitting the road with Oregon baseball. Ryan Milano and I have a 4:45 pregame show on Saturday. Super regional action. Chris, been a pleasure. We'll see you in the fall, huh?
All right, absolutely. I'll be here.
See ya.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them